Hi guys, welcome back to Add On with Holly. My name's Holly. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. So I started out today going out to clean up some weeds in the garden beds because it's about 10 degrees cooler even though it's still hot today than it has been. And then I noticed it's time to do garlic. So all of my garlic, I checked them and it's got 4 leaves that are brown and shriveled up at the bottom, which means it's time to harvest it. So that's perfect timing. We've got some tomatoes we can replace inside those garlic beds. And we've got the tomatoes, we've got the tomatoes that we can replace inside the garlic beds. And we've got the garlic that can come out. And it's not supposed to rain for the rest of the day. So I'm going to pull it out, let it dry for a couple hours, and then take it into the garage. So I'm so glad that you're here. Let's get started. All right, so these originally were our 2 garlic beds. This was supposed to be elephant garlic. It failed and rotted, but this did great. But as you can see, it is definitely ready to harvest. So you can see these brown and crispy leaves. That is telling me that it's ready because it's got 1, 2, 3. It's got 3 to 5 on each of them that are brown and crispy. So we're gonna go ahead and get these out. So we've talked about this before, but one of my favorite things to plant is garlic because if you are on purpose with it, you can save the garlic seed and just keep replanting it again and again. So the way for my area in Northwest Ohio, the way that it works is in the fall, in October, late October, early November, we plant garlic. And so we just put 1 clove, not the whole head, just 1 clove of garlic in the ground, and we put it in about 2 or 3 inches deep. And then when it gets a little colder, a little further in the season, we can mulch it. And then we don't harvest it until basically 4th of July, end of June, early July. And that has always worked out well for me. This year I did have 2 garlic beds. One of them was elephant garlic, and for some reason all of my elephant garlic, I think that I mulched it too heavily and too soon, and so there was way too much moisture, and so the garlic cloves actually rotted. So I'll definitely have to purchase some new garlic seed to plant that again. But for this bed, this is the hardneck garlic. There might have been a few softneck, but I think they were all hardneck garlics in this bed. And I planted out the entire bed of garlic minus a little corner that I saved for some herbs. And I have stevia planted right there. And then minus the very last row, I like to plant sunflowers in it. So I planted all of the cloves of garlic in late October, early November, and then they started to sprout, and then in the spring they sprouted more and more. I fertilized them, I removed the mulch, and I had them on irrigation. This was the first year I had them on irrigation, and then I just let them grow and do their thing and made sure there was no weeds in there. And then we're able to pull it, dry it, cure it, and then actually plant the biggest cloves again in October because they will stay. As long as we cure them properly. We can actually replant this in October, November, and so it's a continuous cycle. And this is the best bang for your buck because seed garlic is relatively inexpensive, and it's something that you can use again and again and again and just keep planting from the same original stock. So I love being able to grow garlic. Unless it's a dessert, I am gonna have garlic in it in my house. When a recipe calls for 1 clove of garlic, I think that they mean 4 to 6. And I just measure garlic and vanilla with my heart. So I love being able to have this. But this year I was hoping to have 2 beds worth of garlic, obviously with the elephant garlic because I like the larger cloves being easier to peel, but that's okay. We'll still have plenty to eat, plenty to plant back. And if I don't, then I can purchase it from either a local person or MI Gardener to get more seed garlic. So no worries about that. So once this garlic bed was all cleaned out, I went ahead and I took the tomato. We had little baby tomato starts that we had started together. And then also my local nursery had a sale that everything in their 3-inch containers was $1. So I did pick up these sad San Marzano plants that were on their last legs, but they will find a happy home here. So I picked up 4 of these San Marzano plants, and I planted 3 of them in the bed that had the elephant garlic, and then I planted the 4th one and the plants that we had started together. So there's Roma and a few other varieties in there, and these are all our determinate tomatoes. And so that means that they're going to grow it's the first week of July, so they're going to grow July, August, September, and even into early October, which is plenty of time for them to put on their fruit. These are determinate, so they're going to put on all their fruit at once. So they're going to grow up, put on all their fruit in September basically, and I'll be able to harvest it all at once. And so this is how I'm getting a second harvest, my fall harvest of my determinate tomatoes. I do have indeterminate tomatoes, 2 beds worth of 20 plants of indeterminate tomatoes, and I will be harvesting tomatoes off of them. I already am harvesting tomatoes off of them, and I will continue to harvest up until the first frost on those tomatoes. But this is a way to get an extra bulk amount of tomatoes that I can use for sauce and canning, just diced tomatoes and stewed tomatoes and all the things, without having to plant them at the beginning of the season. So the garlic stays in here all over the winter, April, May, June, and then these tomatoes will go in from July through the first frost, and then after the first frost we'll plant garlic again. So this is a really good way to be able to kind of rotate stuff in this bed and not have any wasted space. So you can see that these tomato starts, not the ones that I got from the local garden center, but the ones that we started together, they just germinated last week and they just came up. So they are very small, but they will take off once they are in this bed. So I got them planted in, I got them watered in, I gave them Trifecta Plus, and then they are going to be on their way, especially because we don't have a ton of rainy days in the next few days, but after that we have a lot of rain in the forecast, and stuff is just going to grow like crazy from that rainwater. Plus I have a rainwater system that we collect rainwater. I have one system on one side of the house, and I'm in the process of, I'm going to build a second one to put on the other side of the house. So we have that amazing rainwater and all the sunshine and the fresh air. And so these are going to grow like crazy, and we're going to have an amazing fall harvest of tomatoes. So we were able to get all of our fall tomatoes planted and watered in, and about that time the post office called and they said that it was time to come pick up our chicks. So we had our Cornish cross chicks delivered from Meyer Hatchery. They were all doing wonderful and survived the transit, and then we were able to hang up all of our garlic so that it can cure and dry out and be ready for us to process. Woo! All right, y'all, it is hot. Even though it's like high 80s, the humidity is still very high, so it is very hot today. So I'm super glad that we got that done. I want to thank you guys for being here with me while we harvested our garlic and while we planted out our fall tomatoes. I want to thank you guys so much for all the likes and the comments and the shares. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We have a whole lot more growing and planting and chickens and turkeys and preserving and fun stuff coming up ahead. I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye, my friend.